What is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD100 here, back again with another Road to Part 2 podcast, the weekly show. There we go, not new show. The weekly show revolving around Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2, of course, with my luxurious co-host Starks. Starks, how you doing today? How you doing? Good morning.
I'm well. I'm very, very well. I went for a nice walk.
You gotta love it. You gotta get the blood pumping.
The steps in. Yeah,
absolutely. What I've been
I was supposed to go to the gym, but I was like, I don't have time for that.
You know. So
I'm gonna
what
go
I've been doing is, I live a mile and a half from campus, right? So what I do is I have my Fitness Pal, and I think an app called Map My Ride, I believe it's called.
Okay.
Where it's hooked up to my Apple Watch, and all of it's synced up to where I start the app on my watch. And then as I ride my bike, it tracks how fast I'm going, the route I'm taking, like the distance, calories burned, stuff like that, the intensity of my ride. It's very, very nice. So, you know,
I had something similar in Canada. It's called like Carrot or something.
I see.
And what it does is, it was a great app and it was accurate. The one that I have now, which I'm just using right now because there's nothing else, is called I forget the name, but it's kind of annoying because the steps appear on your notification bar, and I keep trying to disable it, but it won't allow me to. Because I would just want to be able to go on the app and see how well I did. I don't want it to be there all the time. So I'm probably gonna buy a Fitbit watch for Christmas or something.
You have an iPhone?
No.
You don't have it. Wait, you have an Android?
No, wait. Yeah, I'm with the Android. Yeah.
Oh God, I would never ask for your number, bro. I hate green messages, bro. It makes me want to throw up.
Listen, you have to have Wi-Fi, don't you? With Apple, don't you have to have Wi-Fi or something?
iMessage works off data too.
Okay.
Yeah, which is damn. But beside the point, I'm sure Ellie may be having to use a Fitbit of sorts to track her own steps in Last of Us Part 2, because there is speculation and some people are thinking, and I guess this will be the main topic for this episode. It's something that we've been wanting to do for a while. I know we have done similar videos on our own personal channels. I don't know if you've done one dedicated to open world. I know you've done one dedicated to Battle Royale, and so have I. I feel like Battle Royale might be its what do you think? Like, I think Battle Royale might be its own separate thing, just because there's a lot more to talk about in terms of like the game mode.
Topic is for anyone, if we weren't specific, is about The Last of Us being open world and or Battle Royale, right?
Yeah, I mean, do we want the full battle? I mean, I guess it makes sense to roll battle Royale in, but I was just thinking, like, are we going to see a more open Last of Us Part 2 story?
Absolutely.
You think so? I mean, because
I think a lot of people have that mentality as well. I made a video talking about the possibility of open world, and I don't know if you want me to explore my ideas that I have now, but I guess I should, just to intrigue people, because this is the beginning of the podcast. So in it, what I was trying to say is justifying the idea of an open world setting. Now, before you rip your hair out and before you write a nasty comment, not saying you will, but if you're thinking of it, just hear me out. So I made a video talking about The Last of Us and the possibility of it being open world. And based off of the last year's demo that we received with Ellie going all over the place, we saw a more, I guess, versatile, a more open level than ever before. Ellie was able to jump from another set of platforms onto the next, and while it's all conjoined and connected, like these different levels and platforms, it looks like the openness of it is going to be far more open than any other game that we've seen. And another similar situation is with Lost Legacy on Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 had a Madagascar level, which is quite open. It wasn't as open as Lost Legacy. The Lost Legacy offered a huge sandbox. I remember the first time I played Lost Legacy back in 2017 on launch. I was sick, by the way, but anyhow, I remember playing on the Western Ghats, which is the open part on the Lost Legacy, and I invested at least a decent 3 to 4, maybe 5 hours in that level alone, and I didn't experience everything that it had to offer. Which just goes to show you how detailed and wide linear wide open linear this the area was. Sorry for the banging. That's on my part. We're having renovation done.
It's all good. Yeah, but then if I may interject, oh wow, yo, that banging is loud. The homie is banging. So sorry. This homie is crafting the. No, it's fine. It's cool. It's all good. It's fine. It's all good. But I was going to interject and say that like Naughty Dog was very much upfront and very much like, all right, guys, like for Lost Legacy, we will be trying some new things with our engine and trying new things as a gameplay format in terms of how the map is laid out, and they intentionally were experimenting with having more open areas and stuff like that. And I believe where we see, which I believe you already called back to, the E3 2018 Last of Us Part 2 gameplay segment, you can see very, very, outwardly there that while there is of course a linear path, and of course there is a linear path in Lost Legacy, but there was a lot more ways that you could go to take on a particular objective, you know what I'm saying, whether it be like enemies or it was a lot more open,
right. Again, sorry for the banging, I apologize, but yeah, that's a perfect example, and I'm sorry for the banging.
It's all good. Listen, hey, I mean, yo,
it's renovation. It's for the roof, so I mean, we gotta get it done.
He just wants to be in the podcast. It's all good.
Yeah. So the reason as to why, like, one, I guess, fact is how The Last of Us Part 2 has been taking a long time for us to, for any news regarding it, right? Because, and I know that's kind of ridiculous to say, but I think that has substance to it. It's like, well, why haven't we seen the game in a while? And I understand that they don't want to do the flush effect with Death Stranding coming out in just under 2 months from now or so. They want to ensure that Death Stranding gets the proper advertisement and promotion that it needs to boost up sales, and I get that, but it's like it's been over a year and several months since we've received any news regarding a working title that Naughty Dog is working on, and I don't think that's ever really happened before. I think the longest might have been under a year, maybe just a year, in terms of seeing the new game. Like for Uncharted 4, we got it in I think October, the first ever reveal with the mini map thing, and then we saw it the following couple of months for E3, I think.
Wait, for Lost Legacy or
Uncharted 4?
Uncharted 4. I know the first time we saw Uncharted 4, which was of course the trailer that we talked about last week on the episode prior to this episode, with the infamous night scene. Nathan Drake wakes up on the edge of like a river type thing.
Right.
Yeah, I know that was the first time, but I know also, at least with Uncharted 4, they definitely made it a point to talk a lot about the multiplayer mode in that game leading up to release. Like I know they did a lot of stuff with that. So do you think like also, I mean, this is just a side question, not really like about the main topic, but do you think we'll also get that kind of rollout and breakdown of factions? Do you think?
Absolutely, 110%. We've seen it with Naughty Dog. One thing Naughty Dog wants to have happen with The Last of Us Part 2 is getting it right. And I mean absolutely right. With Uncharted 4, there was a lot of things that I myself and many other fans really criticized Naughty Dog for. And that is one, perhaps being the lack of content at launch. We got just a select few of game modes. And then later on, there were some game modes. They had a roadmap, which was great. And they followed it for the most part. But after that was it, right? So I think for The Last of Us Part 2, they're going to do something similar, but add to the content,
right.
Which is going to be interesting. I do want to debunk the idea of an open world game, because I think the misconception regarding open worlds is you can't get an open world game right. And I think a lot of the times people say that these linear narratives are far more, I guess, I suppose the story rather is far more better than open world stories. And absolutely. I gotta say, I've played Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, and while those are from the same developers, they're one of the greatest games I've ever played in my life. The story was great, and the open world even better, right? And that's a huge misconception that people have. Like, Days Gone is a great game. The story, not so much, but the gameplay is solid. So if Naughty Dog has, in my opinion, is the kings of video games right now. Like they're leading. I mean, maybe not leading, but they are up there. In my opinion,
they are most definitely in the front row. And there's not a question. I don't think anyone
exactly. Can question that. So I think Naughty Dog's drive and efforts and skill as well as talent, being able to do story-driven games while also mixing elements of open world aspects is something they're gonna do right, and they're gonna do an open, not open world necessarily, but open space, open linear. Because again, open world, people say, oh, open world wouldn't work in The Last of Us. How would it not? It's a post-apocalyptic world. Having a linear story is great and all, but you look at something like Days Gone, right? And this is probably going to contradict what I just said, but Days Gone at times did feel a little bit boring and dull, but that it's post-apocalyptic, so that's the point. Like, nothing's fun about a post-apocalyptic world. It's the gameplay and story elements that have to shine in order for the player to feel a sense of I guess inclusion and feel as though they've done right in terms of purchasing the game. So do I think Naughty Dog, if they were to make an open world gameplay with The Last of Us Part 2, will they do it right? Absolutely. I know they would. Their attention to detail and their skill is no match for any other developer.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. But like, I guess my main hang up is that and I don't know if you've ever experienced this too, but like, I feel like I won't say lately, but like, there are some games that come up, right, that get released, that maybe it'll be in their third version of the series or their fourth game in the series, etc., where they try to do something open world, because that's kind of like, I feel like open world definitely doubled down this generation. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we had open world games in PS3 and stuff like that, but I feel like with the power that brought through with this gen, of course, with the PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox One/S, and then the Scorpio as well. Like, I feel like we got a lot more power with these consoles to be able to do more open worlds, right? And so I guess the main argument that I have is that I know a lot of games that I played that have turned towards that open world perspective and have been honestly a little bit worse for it. For me, the biggest example that I played is Metro Exodus, right? Like, Metro Exodus, it wasn't necessarily a traditional so I guess we gotta break it up here. We gotta talk about like hub open world versus actual open world, right? So actual open world, of course, as you know, is like Spider-Man PS4 or like Red Dead, where it's just one big map, right? Like when you load into the game, GTA is a straight up open world. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the entire thing loads when you go in there. But then there's like what people call like hub open world, or like hub based open world, which is like God of War, or like how I feel Last of Us will be, is definitely more of a hub base. I believe the Tomb Raiders were like that by Crystal Dynamics that have recently just came out. And of course, Lost Legacy was like that as well.
So in this case, do you think that games like Far Cry and Horizon Zero Dawn are hub open worlds or more open world?
No, Far Cry I consider a straight up open world, and so I consider Horizon's open world. Yeah, open world. Right. But like, I'm talking like, you know how in God of War, where technically the whole map is connected, right? But I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's just a difference. Like, I'm trying to.
Because a lot of the times, like, you're not able to explore a specific setting or area of the game, because if you go to that area, you're going to be dominated by your lack of experience in the game, right? Is that what you're trying to say? Because
I guess that
there's moments in the game where I would go into a cave and I'd be bombarded by a bunch of creatures, and I would get trampled over because I don't have the experience or the skill sets to essentially to defeat them and successfully. Is that what you mean?
Kind of, sort of. Okay, now think back to Lost Legacy. I think this is going to be my best way to explain this, right? You know how when you first boot Lost Legacy, right, you're not booted into the open world part of the game, right? It is a linear path until you get to that open world hub that you get to, and then you can move. And then you move past that, and it gets linear. And it opens up again. Like, that's why they call it.
I see The Last of Us being like that. Yeah.
That's why they call it a like hub based world, where like there are certain circles as you progress through the story that the game opens up, and it becomes a pseudo very controlled open world experience. So I feel like if anything, Last of Us Part 2 will do that. Well, I know the ultimate reason, and that's why, like, I'm with you on this, even though there have been open world games, of course, that have incredible stories, right? Like Red Dead Redemption 2, probably a really, really prominent one. There's been others, of course, as well. But I feel like overall, right, it's very tough to make a powerful, cohesive story when you have the element of open world in your game, right? Like, because with
you
a linear,
feel as connected, because you have the free will to explore the world without fully indulging in the story, and that it almost feels like that narrative is completely driven away because of the open world aspect, which allows the player to essentially do whatever they wish without taking the story seriously. And I get that view, and however, I don't necessarily agree with it. And the reason I don't agree with it, pardon?
No, like, I just said that was interesting that.
Oh, yeah.
That because we disagree here. Like, this will be cool.
Like, yeah, because the reason I don't disagree is because, again, I look at a game like Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm going to point to this because I think it had a very powerful, incredible story. And while the game is completely open for me as a player to explore the world, I think that's just in addition to the game's, I would argue, impactful story, right? And a lot of the arguments I see people have regarding open world not being as good as linear, because linear stories have narrative experiences where it's just one path, one way. I get that perspective. I just don't necessarily agree, because I still believe that stories based in open world settings are and can be impactful and meaningful. I'm not going to pick a lot of the PlayStation examples like Horizon Zero Dawn, because that story didn't affect me at all. It as well as Days Gone. I think the issue with those two games, which I'm hoping to make a video about eventually, is they try to give you so, like, for Days Gone spoilers a little bit. Like it starts off with an emotional key, right? And that emotional key is incredibly underwhelming, because it's like, one, I've seen it all too many times, and two, there was no emotional buildup, right? Like, and I don't know, I haven't played fully Days Gone, so maybe it's gonna surprise me at the end, and I'm hoping it will. And I think you know what I mean by surprise, like cough cough, Deacon's cough cough wife is cough still alive. And if that's the case, I'm gonna be really shocked, and I'm gonna be like, you know what, this game actually impressed me, and I hope they're gonna go that way. I don't know if they will, and don't spoil it for me, but like, if they don't, it's like they missed a huge opportunity, because it's like you start the game off, Days Gone, with, like I said, an emotional key where his wife and him are separated. It's supposed to be emotional because the music sounds emotional. He's upset. His facial expression is emotional. And then it's like, it's let down with a story that's just so it's just lackluster. It's just, there's no build up to it. And I think, and that's why The Last of Us did so well, because while it's the same way, The Last of Us is the same way, the first game that is, with the same emotional key, when you first start off the game, but it doesn't do it too quickly. Like, you get a sense of this father and daughter's relationship, and then obviously by the end of that little chapter, it all goes for the father. His daughter dies, and you know what I mean.
Right.
And The Last of Us didn't emotionally impact me, because I watched a walkthrough of it before I even played the game, so I didn't get to experience that. And that's why a lot of people tend to say that these linear narrative experiences are far more impactful than things like open world games like Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, etc.
Yeah, I mean, I think for someone to say that open world games have weaker stories to a degree than linear games, in a more definitive, like, proclamation type of way, is not true, right? But I do feel like if you have a linear game, right, you have a better chance to have a cohesive story that connects with a lot more people and relates and gets portrayed in a better way, as opposed to an open world, because the story becomes a bit of a bigger focus. Again, not always, but the story has a more likely chance to shine in a linear game as opposed to an open world game. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, like true. I think talking in definitives, like if it's open world, the story is going to be down by 5 points. No, like that's absurd, because we've seen open world games, like we said before, go above and beyond the story, a la Red Dead Redemption 2, what you've been saying, GTA 5, etc. So like it's not always, but I feel like it takes a very talented studio like Rockstar. We named two Rockstar, you know what I'm saying? So like it takes a very capable studio to do that, and I think Naughty Dog, perhaps maybe they could, but nonetheless I don't see them making a open world game like a Rockstar game that's a literal open world game, but more of like a hub based open world game, which like I think it lends a lot of truth in terms of seeing the E3 gameplay, because we see Ellie move in a pretty open area, and like there were open areas in Last of Us, but they weren't as big as what we saw in the E3 2018 trailer, for sure. Like there was definitely a lot more room to move around and navigate and stuff like that, and yeah. So I mean, like but I am a little bit like, I guess, trepid at the notion of if they were to come out and be like, yeah, Last of Us Part 2 is like hub-based open world. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think did I say it? Like, I don't know if I did, but like, I have had and played games where their predecessors, like their Series 1, Series 2 games, whatever, were a linear experience, and they go to an open world type of thing for the third game or the second game, and it gets weaker by that. For me, the biggest culprit is Metro Exodus, right? Because they introduced like more of a hub-based open world technically, because you would like travel to another area and that'll be open. But let me tell you something, dog. Like that game did not need to be open world at all. The open world was barren. It was just, there was nothing of substance to find there other than side missions. But when you were in the past games, you could easily get side missions and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So like, I just feel like they just wanted to make an open world component to Metro Exodus, just to say that, hey, it's open world, just to say it, because.
And I think another reason is that a lot of the times this association that people have with open world titles is that there's far more content, more things to entice customers into buying it. That's Absolutely. I think that's a solid reason. Like you look at such games with Battle Royale. One perfect example is EA with Apex Legends. And while I really enjoyed Apex Legends, I don't play that crap anymore. And it's same with Fortnite. Really, I don't play much Battle Royales at all. But
I like Apex Legends.
Pardon?
I like Apex a lot.
No. So do I. I really don't play it anymore. So I didn't mean to call it crap, but I'm just trying to say, like, I don't play Apex anymore. But like you look at that EA, for instance, and who's the people behind it? Respawn, right?
Yeah, Respawn.
Yeah. So they decided, hey, we're gonna do a battle royale, and look, the amount of people that shifted from Fortnite or Black Ops 4's battle royale or what have you, went to Apex. They tried it, and Apex was the shine of the light for a while, and it's not really anymore. But nonetheless, people still really play it. It has a strong audience. They have Twitch rivals with it all the time, and it was a cool game, right? So you look at stuff like that, and it really entices people to get their game, which is why I think Naughty Dog might and probably should. I wouldn't say probably should, but I think they may attempt to do some form of open or battle royale, especially for the multiplayer. Battle royale. I don't mean battle royale for single player, but I mean like multiplayer.
Yeah, like I feel like if anything, battle royale will be like a part of factions, and it'll be a separate mode. Like obviously it will not replace factions. Like people want to play supply raid, etc. Like and I know they are well aware of that. Like as to how quickly you can get into a Last of Us Factions game 6 years out to release is it there.
It's insane.
It takes me longer to get into a Black Ops 4 lobby. I swear to God, into a Black Ops 4 lobby that came out months ago, nearly a year at that. Fine, nearly a year, okay, but came out in October of 2018, and here we are, September 2019, and it takes longer for me to get into a queue of Black Ops 4 than Factions. Literally, Factions, right. I swear to God, takes at max 6 seconds to get into a lobby. Like, that's not even an exaggeration, and it's
pretty
you
impressive. Yeah, the player base is incredible.
Exactly,
and I think this is definitely, without a doubt, going to be Naughty Dog's most financially successful game. I want to believe it. I think it actually might be PlayStation's. What is PlayStation's number one most sold game? Uncharted 3?
Number one sold game? I have no idea.
I wanted to say God of War or Spider-Man, but I don't think that's true. I think it's one of the Uncharted games.
Spider-Man's. I feel like likely
I'll search it.
It is definitely one of the Uncharted's.
I
could see Spider-Man being up there. But also I do feel like, perhaps with the, so in the original Last of Us, right? As you know, they derived some of the Factions maps based off of particular cutout areas of the story mode. You know what I'm saying? Like they kind of took similar environments, and I think maybe for some aspects, maybe a literal part of the story mode map. I think they literally like cut a section of that and put it as a map. I think that happened. Probably not. Or maybe, they did and made some iterations and changes to it to make it better for Factions multiplayer. But I know, they did derive a lot of the map's aesthetics from the story mode. So I think it'd be really cool to have if we get a hub open world type areas with part 2, to have in translation bigger maps for Factions and have more opportunity for bigger player count matches or different game modes that require a lot of people. Maybe there are phases to a map where how in I believe it was Battlefield 5 or Battlefield 1, not the first Battlefield, but the one that just came out, the World War 1. Where or I think it's not Battlefield games actually. I think it's just those two, where there are certain parts of the map that you progress to if you complete an objective in the section that you're in right now. So
I see what you're saying. So
it's
I've seen
you have
stuff
to
like that,
move. So you have to move across this big map.
Right, it's massive.
So I don't think the areas will be that big in part 2, but perhaps there could be something like that. You know what I'm saying? Where
that's a unique idea.
Yeah.
I definitely want more than I want a mode like Battle Royale that's gonna do more than just your typical 4 versus 4 faction. I even see them doing an additional game mode with possibly 5 or 6 people, but I want more than that with the Battle Royale game mode. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they ended up doing. But I know it's gonna be massive. It has to be, because it's been over a year since we've seen anything from the game.
I'm so hesitant to talk about Battle Royale because I want to bring out a whiteboard on these episodes. I want to plan out. I want to do the same in-depth
predictions, right?
Now as we did for So me and Christian did a PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2 concept podcast where we just talked about different players, their movesets, maps, etc. Right? So I want to do the same thing, but for Last of Us, most definitely, right? I'm trying to get the drawing board out. I want to know what crafting materials are going to be there, what they can make, where would they be, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know if I should say that for another episode, because I feel like
we can save it for another episode, just because this renovation is killing me and it's making so much noise.
Hey, I quite frankly enjoyed the nice beat that the Hammer guy's making in the back. Yo, it's a fire beat. He got the Migos in the back there. Yo, he got Quavo on set. It's lit. It's lit. But I don't know, man. I think if you were to ask me, all right, Kevin, if you would rather have a linear or hub-based open world game, I think after seeing how well Lost Legacy went, if they derive from that kind of same template of that kind of size hub open world, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it'll be okay. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
I really doubt it'll be some sort of, crazy monstrosity of a game, whatever. But if it was something overblown like Metro Exodus, for example, you know, I think that's where I would have a little bit of issues of like, all right, you know, I don't know if this game needed this big of an open world. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If it's not for the constructs of like a battle royale, obviously battle royale is a whole different story. But like I'm talking like for the main story of part 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely agree.
It's very interesting times here. It's very interesting. But I mean, do you have any last comments on the prospect of Last of Us Part 2 being hub-based open world? Or, I mean, do you? So I guess I'll ask you like as a final like thesis. I guess you would like to see a open worldness to Part 2. You know, like if we're led to believe that the E3 2018 gameplay showing, you know, and their openness in that demo, right? If that's translated to the whole game, would you be okay with that? I guess.
If I would be okay with it, do I want it? Which I made in my open world video like maybe a month ago. Not necessarily, but I wouldn't mind it, and it seems as though they might be doing it. So that's the message I was trying to get across in that video, is like, I don't necessarily want open world, but it would be cool to see, and I think Naughty Dog is attempting to do some version of like a hub open world game like you've mentioned.
Right, yeah. I mean,
so I'm not, I guess I'm conflicted. Like, I would be okay with it. The lore is going to be interesting. Like, I think in terms of that, it's going to be harder for people to obtain trophies, and specifically myself, especially when it comes down to difficulty level. So in that aspect, I wouldn't want it, but I wouldn't care, to be honest. Like, I don't mind at all, as long as the story is something that's going to impact me and tell a very good story. I'm very, very okay with it.
Right. Yeah. I guess I'm kind of in a very similar boat as you are. Look at us in the boat in the river. Damn, look at us canoeing and shit. Like
you should put the Kratos and Atreus.
Oh picture. Shit! I want to be Atreus though.
All right,
be Atreus.
But you look more like Kratos, or do I? I don't know. Yeah, you look more like like, dude. If you could do a Kratos cosplay if you wanted.
Dude, if I was ripped, right? Like if I was fucking ripped, yo. I would
be that ripped?
No, I mean like if I was like cut. Like I'm talking like went to the gym, the Rock type style.
Do you go to the gym and work out often?
No, not particularly. I just eat very, very clean. I eat
yeah,
well,
dude, that meal that you posted on Discord, I was like, holy crap.
Lovely, listen to this podcast. If you guys were not on the Discord, yo, I was putting up my dinner pictures, you know what I'm saying? We out here, you know what I'm saying? On the PlayStation Stories Discord server. Make sure to go check that link in the description. But I'm at a similar place with you where I feel like I most definitely trust Naughty Dog, right? Like I feel like it is so unbelievably unlikely that this game will be shit or bad whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like everyone knows that too. Like there is no fucking way Last of Us Part 2 gets below a 90. Like that's just in my eyes. Like I do not see a future that and if it does, quite frankly, I will eat my words here in this podcast. But like I just do not see it going below a 90. I just don't see it. I don't. You know what I'm saying? But but I do feel like to a degree, like if I know when I get Last of Us Part 2, right? The first thing I'm doing is jumping into that story because I cannot wait, right? Like
Me too.
After like as soon as Joel says I promise in Last of Us and then Ellie says okay, and then they head off to Tommy's.
You know what? I think that's how the game's gonna start. It's gonna replay the ending and then it's gonna transition to the story.
Ooh,
maybe not, but it would be cool to see that.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Anyways,
but like, you know, ever since the ending of Last of Us, right? I need to see how the story plays out. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like because I will be just sitting down, I will be taking off work, and I will be just playing through the story and literally probably not getting up until it's done.
Dude,
like I think I'm gonna
comes out in May.
I think I'm
That's
gonna
be perfect timing.
I think I'm really gonna stream it, and I'm really because I won't have class. I won't have school. So
in May, right? If it comes out in May.
Yeah. Because
same. That's why I don't want it to come out in February because February the
well
last semester of my studies.
Yeah,
so that's gonna be a bitch if that happens. So real. May is what I'm counting on. Even April, because I'll be done school by the end of April.
Yeah, because I graduate in December over here in a few months, right? But nonetheless, really? Nice. I will be streaming and I will be just playing through the entire thing, likely in one sitting. Like I don't like unless it's some crazy 20-hour game like similar to like God of War. You know what I'm saying? I will be playing it in just one sitting. Like I don't care how long it takes, right? But right. I feel like I will get the most enjoyment out of. I mean, the most likeliness to enjoy it if it's a linear. Just here is the story of Joel and Ellie. Here is the focus of what Neil Druckmann has been saying this entire time about, hey guys, y'all can say what Last of Us is about. I'm telling you, as the creative director of the game, The Last of Us as a franchise is a story about Ellie and Joel. Period. And I just feel like that vision acclimates itself more to a linear experience. But again, if it's Hubby's open world, I do believe in Naughty Dog to pull it off because they have done it before with Lost Legacy, and they pulled it off with a franchise without its main protagonist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which in it in itself is a leap. Like is a step of like, damn, like they really did. Like imagine if you were told after Uncharted 3, right, that a few years down the road they're gonna make an Uncharted game that does not feature Nathan Drake at all. And is a hub-based open world game starring one female protagonist that you know about, the other you don't, and a male that is a bit of a surprise, so I won't say it, but that you don't know yet. Post Uncharted 3, like that sounds crazy. People.
Yeah, it does.
If that came out, like before Uncharted 4 came out and everything, and like the news of that game was in development, like people would lose it. You know what I'm saying? I think. But after seeing what Naughty Dog is capable of in terms of open world in this game and like of a open world element to their games, I think either way it'll be okay. But I do have that lingering fear of a Metro Exodus issue here where I will question the why did this have to be open world,
Right. Yeah.
But
no, I totally get it.
I feel like in the end it'll all work out.
Same.
As all things should be. Now, before we wrap up, were you able to try cereal with a banana?
No, I was not. I don't have bananas in my house.
I
have plantain, which I'm sure you know of.
Plantains.
Yeah, my mom bought some plantains.
Wait, are you Hispanic?
No. I Caribbean background.
Okay, so y'all know what plátanos are, right?
Come again?
Plátanos?
No, what's that?
So it is plantains, but they're fried, and it's like.
Oh yeah, we call it well, we just call it fried plantain.
Oh damn.
In the Caribbean, yeah.
That's wild. Well, I mean,
my mom makes it on Sunday sometimes too.
The DR is in the Caribbean.
The what?
The Dominican Republic.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Where my ancestors derive from, you know what I'm saying? Shout out the Caribbean. So also
we both have the same background or similar.
I was unable to play Last of Us. Well, not unable. It's just I started Man of Medan. I wanted to finish it. Finished it last night. Pretty good.
Wait, The Last of Us?
Did I say Last of Us? I meant Man of Medan.
Oh yeah, you said you finished it. Yeah. How was it? I need to play Until Dawn. Oh my! I have such a large backlog of games. Yeah, I need to delete this Lego game and say screw it, and then actually play the real games. Like I need to get the platinum for Detroit Become Human to make my video.
Detroit is so good. Detroit is so good. I just got Control 2. I'm trying to beat Control in 8 days, starting now, because Borderlands 3 is coming out next Friday.
So I heard. My friend is interested in getting that.
And I'll be damned if anything comes between me and Borderlands 3, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna try. But also next weekend, we not only have Borderlands 3, but the Modern Warfare beta. So quite honestly,
I want to play that.
Yes, absolutely. But like, I'm a bit conflicted because like, man, guys, like, I mean, like the alpha for Modern Warfare was cool, but y'all, it's Borderlands fucking 3. Like y'all, like hello, it's Borderlands 3. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to make some sacrifices that day that I don't know if I'm gonna like, quite honestly, but we're gonna see. All right, but that I guess has been our discussion on, I guess, if Last of Us Part 2 should be linear or hub-based open world. And definitely this will tie into a future episode where we go into our full vision and plan as a duo of what Road to Part 2 podcast see if Last of Us Part 2 were to have a Battle Royale component. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about all that good stuff in a future episode for sure. Is that next episode? Do we want to just call it here?
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Absolutely.
I'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I will line the ducks in a row. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'll figure it out. And of course, make sure to look out. I've been saying, I said the last podcast, I'll say it now. We are in September, so we are in the danger zone for Outbreak Day. So I want to let you all know that if a trailer indeed does drop,
right, I'm gonna watch it before Kevin does. No, I'm joking.
I'm joking. That will be its own separate episode, right? That will not.
And dude,
what's up?
Dude, Outbreak Day is the 26th, right?
Isn't it 28th? No, it is 26th. Right here.
That's perfect. Thursday and Friday off. I dig that.
Wait, is Outbreak Day on a Thursday? Get out.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Oh my God, it is.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So, viewers, you know, this is a little bit of letting you all in behind the closed door curtains. But now that school is in session, it is a Thursday. That's so perfect. Oh my God, that's so perfect. All right. So, what was I gonna say? What was I saying? Oh, so, you know, a little look into the curtain of recording this podcast. Since me and the luxurious Starks are now in, you know, escuela, in school, we have now have a dedicated weekly schedule. Thursday mornings, we're recording this, and it goes up the Wednesday after.
The following week. Yeah.
Goes up next Wednesday. So it
gives us a lot of room just in case, let's say Thursday doesn't work somehow.
Yeah.
Then we try again on Tuesday or whatever, right? So it gives us more flexibility with school, and I've got 2 days off during the semester, which works out perfectly. So.
It works out. It's all good. Yeah. So, but that worked out because Outbreak Day lands on Thursday when we record. So feasibly, if they were to drop a trailer, you know,
dude, if they drop a trailer, I'm analyzing it. I'm gonna do a breakdown. I'm gonna upload. I hope you'll make the reaction, and then I'm gonna upload it on my channel, just as you're gonna upload it on PlayStation Source. Dude, and then 100%. I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna.
I cannot wait for it, dude. I can't wait. Oh my God, I want to see it so bad, bro. We really gonna lose our shit when that fucking trailer drops. We're really gonna lose it. But let us know, most importantly, what you guys think. The Last of Us Part 2 should be more of a linear focus, or should it be a more open world focus, either hub based or open world? Make your arguments down below in the comment section down below. And before you go, peruse on over to Starks. Starks, where can the people find you, good sir?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are still watching, I appreciate it. We appreciate it. And of course, you can find me on YouTube at The Starks and or on Twitter, where I post some stuff here and there. And yeah, how about you, sir?
You can find me, of course, at VKDS123, Twitter down below, where I guess I tweet. Wow. I guess I tweet, food hot takes of the likes. I got my 2000th trophy last night. That was interesting.
Nice. I see you only have one plat, though.
Do you know what that platinum is, though?
Yeah, isn't it Uncharted? I don't know.
No, it's
not the last one.
Tales from the Borderlands.
I was gonna guess that. I was like, nah,
dude. I wasn't even. I've never tried to go for. I've never tried to go for platinums, right? Like I just don't.
Yeah, people are way too into that stuff, and then they try to say you're not a gamer if you don't have a plat. Like it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very odd. I mean, to each their own. I kind of understand that.
I get what they mean, but like in my head, it's like you're not more of a The Last of Us fan just because you have a plat. I don't have the plat, and I'm not gonna get the plat. No way.
Yeah, no. Yeah, there is no like heavier weight of a gamer just because he has more platinums. That just means that you just 100% the game. That's cool.
Yeah,
Serious, maybe. But I wasn't even trying to go for the platinum in Tales from the Borderlands. They kind of just gave it to me. I was like, oh, okay, so that's my first plat. But
yeah, that's awesome.
I have been looking at my progress in Spider-Man. I think that plat is definitely attainable for me. I think it most definitely is attainable.
Something's happening.
Something's happening?
You hear that?
The banging?
Dude, I think I need to check this.
Okay, go ahead.
What the hell are they doing? Okay. You need to get My Name is Mayo, and that's a plat. 30 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, I will continue the outro. You can head out if you need to.
All right.
That's all good.
You guys take care.
All right, so that was a start. To make sure also down below to check out our description where you can find our different links for Discord and of course Twitter and the Anchor Link podcast if you would like to listen to this show and all of our other live form content, including Cross Circle Podcast and Road to Part 2 down in a podcast format, whether it be on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Google Play Podcasts. You can find the link down below in the description. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like on the video, as well as subscribe to PlayStation Source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Thank you for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.